see. We will go fucking... Yeah, fuck it. That'll do. Let me just check some shit first. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, make sure I'm fucking... Oh yeah, right. Check 1 2 1 2. Yep. All right, welcome, ladies and fucking gentlemen, to fucking round 3 of the Slippery series. We're at Paul Ricard tonight for some racing. We're in qualifying at the moment, so I'm late. I'm a little bit fucking behind the fucking 8 ball this morning, so excuse me while we watch our fearless leader, Mr. White, head up the back straight. Let's get some fucking track facts and shit and some fucking race information for you guys. Alright, the location of where we are is La Castelle Var in France. Alright, which is, I don't know how far that is from fucking Paris, but anyway, La Castelle, that's where we are. It was open on the 19th of April 1970, so about 54 years ago, so it's an old circuit. It's been around for a while. Fucking currently hosts, I've got some track facts, some decent ones here this evening, gentlemen, ladies. The host of the GT World Challenge at 3 hours of Paul Ricard, as we know. The length is 5.8 Ks or 3.6 mile for my American brethren and all those who use that fucking stupid fucking pre-decimal, pre-fucking current system. It's got 13 turns, but with the back chicane it can have 15. Alright, so the lap record is Nick de Vries in an LMP2 car in 2020 with a 140.13, and a GT3, a quick GT3 time is a 159, well the lap record is a 159.319. Christoph Lenz Lentz in the Lambo Evo, in the Eevee 2019. He said that. Couple of things. It's got a 1.8k straight, the Mistral straight. And here's a little bit of fucking knowledge for you that some of you older crew and older viewers will fucking know. But Ayrton Senna had a fucking major fucking huge crash here back in 85 in the French GP. He had an engine failure, sent him off backwards at Signs. So I don't know where that is. Alright, I'll find out, but he went off backwards on his own oil, crashing heavily into the wall. Had some bruising and shit like that. He was alright. Nigel Mansell went off the same corner with the same problem, engine failure. So back then they used to flog the engines hard, fucking hard. So send him off backwards would have been a scary proposition. So anytime you go off backwards, you're not knowing where the hell you're going. So, alright, let's get back into some racing. We know, hang on, I'll do what's the name is. Go back to the start, where are you? Right, race format, 40 minutes quali, so we got just under 30 left, so we got fucking 29.20 seconds left in quali, so it'll be a 60-minute race following this one. Yeah, so they've got a mandatory pit stop, 25 seconds fixed. Alright, so tyres and fuel optional, there's no window, there is a drop round, so in this series, so that will shake up the championship standings a little bit. I will get back to you at Bathurst, because I think that's probably about where we should know a little bit more after tonight's racing on where everyone will sit in the championship as Mr. White loops it around. It's not helpful for a fucking quali lap, but we will find out, and I will get to you guys, and I'll get you the championship standings after the drop round. So then we'll have a better idea going into the final couple of rounds. Okay, so let me just get the iPad set up so I can take some of your questions and say g'day to you fucking fine viewers out there. Alright. Yeah, so there will be a drop round. They got a 25 second fixed pit stop, so that means that they got it, whether they have full fuel, whether they fucking put in a strategy or whatever, they're sitting there for 25 seconds, so everyone will sit there for 25 seconds. Our current leader, right, of the championship and who's won the last 2 rounds, Mr. Alex, is your current championship leader and has won the last 2 rounds at Watkins Glen and at the Red Bull Ring. So we will have a few more driver profiles tonight. I'll have to check my phone because, like I said, I'm a bit behind the 8 ball. Sorry guys, so I'll get to a couple of driver profiles and quick fire questions as well. So we'll watch Mr. White and we'll have a look through the grid. He's currently sitting P3 at the moment. So we'll have a look and we'll go through to see what we can see. What can we fucking see here, guys? Who's sitting on pole? What's going on? Mr. Alex, no surprise there. Mr. Alex is sitting on pole. Where do we find Mr. Alex? There he is. Okay. In the GDR as he heads up the back straight in straight into that fast right-hander. So let's see what he does. See what he can do here. Wide. And he's wrecked that lap, so he's ruined that one. That will be back to the pit stop for him. Back to the pits. Figure out, maybe do some tuning, maybe do some adjustments. We'll go have a look at somebody else while he figures out what he's going to do. The BMW won the 148 of Mr. Urban. Evil looking BMW. Is sitting currently in P4. So it's got Mr. Williams behind him in P11, chasing him down in the Merc. See Mr. Graff there just going out of picture. So 25:30 left on the clock as he sets out down that huge fucking long straight, huge back straight. Really, I think they should have put the chicane in. It makes for a lot better racing in that actual real series, as far as I'm concerned. Let's put it in that chicane there to break it up. You can see there just on the left-hand side where you'd come out. So thanks for watching, guys. You're watching the ARL 3rd round of the Slippery Series. Oh, Mr. Williams gets it off the back end of that fucking curve. Nasty. You can just have some real ass puckering moments here at Paul Ricard. It's a flat track. There's not much camber to the track, so it's very flat. So hence your camber's going to reflect the same on the front. You're not going to have much camber. You're going to want them all. You're going to want that minimal camber whatsoever. You see, there's not much camber on any of the vehicles you'll see, and any of the shots. Need to be nice and flat here. It's a very tricky circuit. Very tricky. Yeah. Not a favourite with a lot of drivers, I've found. Not a lot of guys like it. So he sets a 201.237. Drops down to P5. So we'll have a look at Mr. Alex's jump back out on track. 24 minutes left on the clock. Mr. Hicks in P2. Mr. Shrub in 76 in my favourite car, in the Aston Martin in P3. Mr. Tillery, the AMG in 62. Great car. Mr. Hicks there pulling over. The track requires a little bit of gentleman behaviour when it comes to driving here. So you will come up on slower guys, you will come up on guys that you're going to pass and that. So it takes cooperation of both of you, you know. He's currently sitting in P9. I want a little bit better than that. So we'll stay with him. Let's see how he goes on this lap. Have some coffee. Very, very complex sector, that sector 2. A lot of corners, and you're constantly on the very radius of most of the corners, so in keeping up your speed. As you see him go down the back straight, and you'll hit your top speed, you'll max your car out going up the back straight here at Paul Ricard. So you know, choose your braking spot where you're going to brake. You know, you're going to do a 150, 100, 50, a bit later, and then the wet. Nice entry. It's wide out there. The car doesn't like going off the back of those curbs, especially. That corner's synonymous with the car just looping around. So got to keep it clean in there, nice and tight. And we're keeping your speed up. And the third sector here. Watch him come up to the last few corners. And tucks it in nice and tight. Keeps that momentum going. Into that tight last corner. It's just horrible. Feels like you're in it for ages before you can get on the power. It comes across the line at 201.722. And this still remains in P5. So he's still got a little bit of work to do. 21 minutes, so he's got plenty of time. So we'll keep working away at it. We go back to our fearless leader in the other AMG. There's 3 AMGs in the series. It's a popular car. Mr. White's chasing down, trying to get a tow from our current championship leader. Beautiful shot there as you see the 3 cars coming through on max tilt. He's currently sitting in P5. We missed him on the Alpine Cup the other night. He's the current champion in that. So we found out later on that he went to fucking sleep. Jesus fucking Christ. Commitment to racing, sir, is questionable at best. Anyway, he's working his way around the back end into the back straight. Currently in P5, we'll stay with him and see what he's got on this lap and see if he's got anything better to offer, and see if he can vault his way up the grid a bit. Back to his another livery, another nice looking livery. So beautiful looking car. Let's just hope he doesn't have a repeat of fucking Watkins Glen. His crew was absolutely furious by all accounts. So we'll see how he goes tonight. He gets a little bit wide on that apex and just onto the power straight away. Doesn't improve, he still stays in P5. Let's see if he can make a better lap of it this lap. He's working hard. see the man at work. Big, long, fucking straight. Nearly maxing it right out. Tips it in. Right at the very edge of where he could be for track limits. We're watching our fearless leader on board as he's putting down a lap. And currently in P5. We'll stay with him with this lap and then we'll go have a look at down the back end of the field and see what's happening down there as he tips it into this second last corner and then hard on the brakes. Tries to find that apex, that very sharp, very what's her name apex. As he comes across the line, the 201, he stays in P5. So Mr. Williams down in P13. We have Mr. May in the pits, P5. A dirty looking McLaren, but just nearly halfway through quali. Mr. Fagan had a little bit of a, what's her name, interesting round to say the fucking least. At the Alpine Cup. Currently in P2. Mr. Schrabb has just come back to the pits in P3. Mr. Andanelli in the King's Meat Snacks. AMR number 36. Currently sitting in P16. She's got Mr. Alex in P1 coming up on him very, very quickly. In the GDR. Get tricky here. No, Mr. Alex has done that fucking lap. He's done with that one. And we'll exit back to the pits. Should we watch the 36 cleaning up his lap and the back end of it and see if he can make any inroads into that top 10 and improve his lap time here. 15 minutes, bit over, left on quali. So still time to make it to get a good lap time in and to set a time, go back to the pits. So fine tune that car and just see him come across the line. 2:04.612 in P16. And sets off on another lap. There's Mr. Squirrel. He's got a bit of a train happening behind him, sitting in P12. He's got Mr. Graff, who's in P14, sitting right behind him in the Mustang. Thinking he might want to get past him and does the right thing and lets him by. Great situational awareness just to get out of it. You know, you've got guys setting fast lap times. It's good situational awareness to have, to always be looking in your mirrors when you're in quali. He's currently sitting in P12, so it hasn't affected him. He can set off and do a lap, sitting behind the two guys in front, Mr. Yo. And we'll do a driver profile on Mr. Yo tonight, so we've got his quick fire questions back the other day, so we'll do a bit of a driver profile on him as well. So we watch Mr. Squirrel come down and just really squirrely down into there. The car doesn't like it. And Mr. Abbott behind him in the BMW. Sitting in P3. Yeah, a bit of closer look. Comes up the back straight. We'll stay on and the Max Verstappen view. So we're watching come up to this really fast right-hander towards the back straight. And slightly touches the brakes and hits him over the top of the ripple strip and making the car just protest trying to turn it in. Cuts that corner short, trying to make some time up. A really wide approach into the corner, just clipping the apex, so get the power on straight away for this last sector. And a wide approach as he tucks it in tight over the top of the ripple strips. And again, 2-3 foot away from probably the ideal line there, but still sets off down the main straight. He's got a 2:01.422 P12. So he's going to keep digging and go for another lap here. This first corner's so tricky. It's so tricky. You've got to get it exactly right every time. It's a real focused track, and in the wet it's even worse. So we're approaching some traffic here. And this is going to happen in quali. You're going to approach guys that are going off on a good lap. Got the Mustang wide. Cars and Ferrari all over the fucking joint. So it's focus central. As we'll look at Mr. Yo and the Ferrari just up ahead of Mr. Squirrel here. Beautifully set out the Ferrari. I don't like the fucking car. I just don't fucking like it. Hey Gabriel, how you going, mate? What's happening? Glad you could join me, man. I will have a look for you, mate. Hang on. I'll get out of here. Amador is... Fuck, is he with us tonight, mate? I don't see him. I don't see him, mate. Hang on. I don't see him on that list, mate. He could be. No, he's not. Bastard lied to me then. Fucking get him, man. Fucking get onto him. No, he's not there, mate. Yeah, he's not. He hasn't joined us. He's still got time to. There's still 10 minutes left in quali, man, if he wants to jump in. So there's time. Bastard lie. I love that. Bastard lied to me. Yeah. He lied to you, man. So there's how we would have a look anyway with 10 minutes left on the fucking clock. There's your fucking Indian totem pole, whatever you want to call it. There's your fucking list of who's doing what. You go up the timetables, have a look, quality, see who's doing the best. Mr. Alex has the first sector, Mr. Shrab has the second sector fastest, and Mr. Urbania has, in the BMW, has the third sector locked up as the fastest times there. So it's split between three different drivers, but Mr. Alex has got a 2 minute nearly flat lap time, and Shrab behind him in AMR is only half a second behind him, so... And then it's very close after that. So as you can see, as we can go right back to even... Mr. White's the first one out of the 2 minutes, so he's just outside with a 2:01.95. And then we have Mr. Yo with a 2:01.430. And so it's very close from about... P7 all the way down to, let's say, P12. And then we have into the 202s, have 3 in the 202s, a couple in the 203s, and then a couple in, what's the name, in the 204s, 1 205, 209. So that's where we're sitting there. Let's have a look. Mr. Fagan's coming out in P3. 8 minutes left on the fucking clock. Oh, mate, it's been on hold for a little bit, building a PC, mate. Yeah, I've got a really good laptop, but that I could possibly play this game on that. But Dalton, my Australian counterpart is not in here. No, Mr. Dalton isn't on that list, mate. So he isn't. No. Where were we, Mr. Fagan there? 2 bastards then. Yeah, 2 fucking bastards then, mate. Yes. You're starting to form a fucking bastard list, man. Are these bastards lying to you about turning up at fucking on slippery Sundays, mate? Mind you, it is fucking Monday for Dalton, so he could excuse that he may have something to do in life, but still, bastard. Fucking bastards. Absolute bastards. So while we've got 6 minutes or so left in what's name, I will get my phone and I will go into my fucking alright, fucking proudly fucking something I fucking created. So yes, good luck to all, mate. Yep, a former rival. He's very good, mate, sitting in P5 at the moment, so not far. He's only 8/10 of the what's name, so could very well. Mr. Yo, or Dazza Automatic, if you'd like to call him. This is one of my things that I'm doing for the Slippery series. I asked all the guys, or most of the guys, most of the drivers, 5 quick fire fucking questions. They were this: your favourite GT3 car ever, your favourite driver, your favourite movie, your favourite food, and your favourite music. Just to remind everyone who doesn't fucking know, that's what the questions were that I asked most of the guys. It's a little kind of get to know you, where kind of get to know the guys, what they like, give them a bit of shit on Discord, then you get to know one another a little bit better. We all race against one another. We may as well at least know what we all like and don't like, or what we like anyway. So, Mr. Yo here, he's from Wales in the UK, obviously. That's the reason why there's a banner across the fucking windscreen. Hence the banner across the windscreen. His favourite car, for its looks, the Merc, obviously, the Evo or any version. I'm gathering, Mr. Yo. So whether it's fucking the Evo or the what's name, you didn't specify. So I'm just going to say the Merc, right? For its looks and its sound. His favourite driver in the world is Colin McRae, flat out all the time, whatever the outcome. Lucky to meet him marshalling for Rally GP during a race. That's a fucking pretty big thing, man. That's a fucking tick off a bucket list. I know when I met Daniel Ricciardo and a few other fucking drivers and shit, it was it was a real moment in my life that I just went, yeah, fucking wow. Colin McRae would have been good as well. So that's a bit of a fucking big tick, man. Well done. That's a fucking big, what's the name? His favourite movie is Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. I have no idea what the fuck that is, man. I'm going to have to Google that one. You guys watch some weird shit, yeah? His favourite food, obviously barbecue. Being from the fucking UK, it would be barbecue. They fucking come out here and they love a fucking good barbie. Fucking... and his favourite fucking music is... listen to most stuff, but Radiohead takes the top step for me. So, I do know Radiohead, so... favourite mistress. No, I'm not going to ask them anything fucking... as much as I fucking, this is an 18 plus fucking stream or broadcast, I wouldn't fucking ask them anything like that. But that is your driver profile for the man that you're currently watching. Mr. Yo is currently in P9, 1.48 seconds off Mr. Shrub, who's fucking taken P1. Wouldn't that, with a 159.950 in the fucking AMR. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it, Mr. Alex. I think he's got some competition fucking tonight, maybe. It's only 500, let's not get too excited. It's only 500 thousandths of a fucking second in front, but it's still in front. He's still taking pole. So, 2 minutes left. Can anything be done about this? Where's my fucking controller in this madness? Let's have a look. He's still out on track. There's your pole sitter. There is your fucking pole sitter for round 3 of Paul Ricard as he sends that absolute cone flying, hitting the barrier and bouncing off. As Mr. Wilson follows him. But there is your pole sitter. At the moment, very bumpy, very fucking wild over that really fast fucking bump and fucking ripple strip. Same thing here. They're all sawtooth curbing curbs here. So you'll see on some they go smooth off the backside, but some of them are very, very sharp off the backside of them. So run your wheels over them too many times, and I have personally got a puncture here. So I know it can happen. So, and when you're demolishing the fucking wets, that can happen very easily. So this is one of those circuits that it doesn't have camber, so you don't have any. You have to use the curbing a lot more. It's required to make that, to get around the fucking track. So when you put your fucking off the backside of those curbs, you're ripping the inside carcass of that apart. So something to keep in mind. But he's done a 159.95. So that's a very good time. Mr. Alex, I think, he's just parked it and said that's enough. I'm happy with P2. He's going to let the 76 have the pole. Mr. Urbania back in P6. As he's coming round a third sector, yes. Onto the last corner and onto the main straight. And see if he can improve his time at all. Stays where he is. Had enough. We're into the max wait time. So Mr. Squirrel back in P8. Mr. Pinney's still out there in the Ford, out in Mustang, so see if he can improve his time from P17. It's a valid lap, so it'll count. No, it stays in P17. Let's see anyone up the front. Mr. Alex has gone out with... what's the name on the clock? I'm not sure if this is a testing move or a car tuning move. But he's into the max wait time, so this won't be a valid lap. So I'm not sure why he's gone out. He's not going to get a valid lap in. So it could be just a testing move here, or a tuning. Half a lap or a lap. Just to see whether or not something's worked. He's in P2. He's a championship leader. It's won the last 2 races, so... They're just coming into the pit. So it was just a tuning move, maybe. So there's your pole sitter. With a 159.950. It's taken the pole. Well done, mate. That's really, really did Feluca register for this series. No, he didn't, mate. No, he didn't. I think he's going to... Oh, he might have. I think he might have. Hang on. Check. Let me check, mate. I'm just having a look for you, mate. I've got everyone's name written down, so...
Alright, conditions are wet. We have some slippery curves.
Alright, we're on the grid. We're all gridded up. No, I don't see his name here, mate. So, I don't think he did sign up for this series, mate. He might have, since I took the list, since I've written down my list, but no. I don't think Feluca did register for this series, mate, so... yeah, which is... That's strange. I thought he did, but... Maybe. Maybe not. Anyway, we have got 1 hour worth of fucking racing to look forward to ahead of us. So let's get some fucking... Let's wrap our heads around that as we look down the grid. Mr. Alex, Mr. Fagan, Mr. Hicks, Mr. Urbania, Mr. Abbott, Mr. White, Mr. Squirrel, Mr. Yo. We did his driver profile, so we know a little bit more about Mr. Yo now than we did before at the start of the race. Mr. Leach, Mr. Graff, Mr. Tillery, Mr. Williams, Mr. Frankhouse, Mr. Duffin, Mr. May, Mr. Pinney, Mr. Wilson, 713, Mr. Antonelli, and the other AMR. Looks like we're going to have a bit of an AMR train. I can see that happening. Mr. McMillan, Mr. Lynch, Mr. Goodday, Mr. Balls, Mr. Sham, and it brings up the rear of the field in the Ferrari in car 949. So there is your grid for tonight. PR. As we count down. So... Who's your money on tonight, guys? Who do you think's going to take it out here at Paul Ricard? 2 minutes left until we go fucking racing. And we don't have any rain as such to look at there, but the track is wet. It's going to produce a dry line, no doubt. Such a beautiful sight. GT3 cars lined up on a grid. I really do. That's what impresses me. It's just all the different manufacturers, all the different makes and models, and everyone's competitive and hungry as for fucking places. So it's a beautiful sight. 1 minute and 20 seconds. My chips. You'll put your chips on Urbania? Yeah. Okay, mate. Well, he's in P5. He has just as good a chance as anyone else. He's right up there. He's not very far behind at all. So he has just as good a chance. The wet throws up a whole different kettle of fish. So we might even see a dry enough line appear to go to dries. We may. Depends on the weather. It looks like we're going to get rain. So, but a dry line does appear here. It will appear after a few laps with 24 guys on track. You will definitely get a fucking dry line. So here we go. 30 seconds, 20 seconds, guys. Let's see who is going to take the dominance into the first corner. Mr. Alex has the racing line. So he has the ultimate line that you take. He has the preferred spot or the preferred place that you would rather be. The pole isn't the ultimate place. It is offline. So going off pole will be a disadvantage to advantages depending on how you prepare your tyres and fucking car on this lap. So it is off the racing line, and take into consideration that there will be a certain amount of marbles and it won't be ultimate. But look, you can be the philosopher or the devil's advocate and say that sometimes off the racing line is the better line to take. So as much as most people will go run closer to that wall along that main straight, it could be a bit of an advantage if you've got your tyres and your pressures right and you feel you got the grip out there. Sometimes it's the better option to be off the racing line when you're fucking when you're racing in the wet. Who won last time, mate? Mr. Alex did. He has taken the last two out. He took out the first one and at Watkins Glen, and he went on to dominate the Red Bull Ring by about 10 seconds, I think, or something like that, mate. It was quite a dominating win. So he's your current champion and he has won the last two. So it'll be good to see Mr. Shrab here to go see if he can take it, Mr. Alex. Very interested, very, very interested. Mr. Shrab's not doing much in the way of warming up. I don't think he's thinking he doesn't need to. Maybe the tyres will run hot, or they have run hot, or he's got the car set up so those brake ducts are closed up a bit more. So we'll see, but he's not doing much weaving at all, your pole sealer. Just slowly taking the field up, straight in a straight line, no weaving. So sometimes it's better not to. Could be a bit of nerves. It is up. He's got Mr. Alex on his outside, so Mr. Alex won't muck around with trying to get to the front of the field and try and get away. That seems to be his MO. So in the last two races, once he's got away, he has just left the field. So we will see whether or not a fight can be taken to him tonight. We're nearly ready. We're coming up to the last sector. We'll start going too wide. I might leave it in this view so I can quickly go down and check everyone out. And there's all your grid. All getting ready. And there's the front. So we're going to have a watch at the front and see who takes the dominance into that first corner. Will that outside line be the preferred line? Here we go, last corner. Let's get ready. Let's get ready. Let's get ready. Let's get ready. We have a green light. Are we all in line? Are we all behaving? We look good. We look good. We look good.
Green light. Go, go, go.
We got a green light. Let's go, guys. 20 hours worth of fucking racing. So everyone fans out, 4 wide. 3 wide, 4 wide. Mr. Fagan has gone all the way down the fucking outside to try and take the dominance, and has he no? He slipped back into P3s. Mr. Shrab and Mr. Alex clambered their way over the first chicane. Looks like Mr. Shrab has gone into the fucking lead. Has taken the dominance into the first corner. Don't know what's happened to Mr. Lynch, he's back in pit lane for some reason. So I don't know what's happened there. Might be a bit of a glitch here. I've got him as on NP1 as we watch the two leaders go up the back straight. Looks like the 76 has got something to play with tonight as Mr. Alex goes out wide onto the fucking ripple strip and out onto the edge of the track on the left-hand side, trying to get a move done. It doesn't happen. We go back to Mr. Fagan, who's under pressure under a little bit of pressure with Mr. Hicks and Mr. White in P5. We'll go back through the field. We see Mr. Leach, Mr. Yo back in P7, Mr. Abbott, all nice and tight. Everyone's really close at the moment on the second lap. Whoa, as Mr. Frankhouse loses it in the Porsche, gets tapped. We'll play a bit of pinball. Just to go back into the deep into the field. P14, P13. He's been bashed about a bit. Mr. Urbania up front. P9. As we go across the fucking start-finish line. Start third lap. Car 76 in the lead. He's stretched that out to now half a second over Mr. Alex, so he's got his work cut out for him tonight, guys. Mr. Alex, Mr. Schraub's got something to say. He's got something to say about fucking maybe this championship and definitely this win here at PR. So this is going to be on like a Donkey Kong. So they work their way up onto the back straight again. That long 1.8k Minstrel straight. And he's just got a little bit of a gap now. A little bit of a fucking gap. That's all you need. Still within that toe, Mr. Alex is. And as he sucks up onto the back of him, brings that from 4 to 5 car lengths back into a couple. So go around that fast right-hander, unsettling the car off the back of that fucking ripple strip. Nice lines from both the guys, both the leaders, both pushing very, very hard in this early stage of the race. Just we'll go back down the back, and we'll go back down to Mr. Sham right in the last position, or second last position. In car 949, he's right at the back there. So he's a little bit back, 2.5 seconds back from the lead of the race. 600 back from P22. And we'll just jump up the field one by one and have a look at Mr. Walls here. He's just in front of him. There's a couple in front of him, or in front of him. I've just made the pass, on Mr. McMillan, who was in 21. So that position will change over. The Mustang. Mr. Antonelli up the road a little bit further. Battling away, trying to keep Mr. Goudet behind him as he ducks out of the fucking draft and then tucks back in for the first corner. So a battle going on there between these two guys. Gets a little bit rough, Mr. Antonelli over that fucking chicane and bounces it out the other side. A bit of a run happening now for Mr. Goudet as he comes down into that tight fucking corner. Bit of a tap there as he makes his way through and says, I'll have the spot back. Thank you. And sets his way off. Mr. Frankhouse in front of this battle a bit further up the road, as you can see. Got pinballed around, lost a few spots. Mr. Pinney right in front of him. So he'll be chasing him down as he's chasing down Mr. Wilson in the AMR. Mr. Williams in front of them. Mr. May in front of them. We're starting to see a little bit of packs forming and some separation between the guys as we go back up the front. And that gap's closed out. now has got very much closer as he actually takes the lead, Mr. Alex, off Mr. Shrab. So something's happened there. And Mr. Alex has gone into the fucking lead. So a mistake maybe by the 76. And has let that opportunity for Mr. Alex happen. And now will hopefully stay with him. And can he stay with him? He's got Mr. Fagan only not far back. So, and already tacked out to half a second. So, concerning, very concerning. We don't want this to be happening. And can't let him go. Otherwise, we know what fucking happens. The last two races, once he's in front, will just fucking go and leave the field. So you want to stay with him. So I'll have a look here. See if he can stay with him up the back straight. The AMR has plenty of power. So he's not short on power, the AMR. So let's see if he's banged it out to a second already in half a lap. So it's concerning, very concerning. Your broadcaster's concerned. It's going to be another whitewash if the 76 can't stay with him. Mr. Alex is pushing that GDR so hard, banging it off that ripple strip. Concerning, a bit loose over the inside ripple strip and curbs. You have to focus now. Can't let that gap slink out to any more than what it is. Otherwise you'll lose touch with him and he won't have that toe. AMR's got plenty of power, so he's wide into that. Very wide line. Let's see if he can make any inroads. Needs to focus. Now's crucial. Mr. Fagan nearly breathing down your neck as well. Those lights are getting closer in the back of that on that AMR. So in a pressure situation, I'll have to focus here. He's now fallen back to now another 500ths back. So second and a half the lead stretched out to now. So very, very, very concerning. Mr. Alex is very, very good. As we see the rest of the top five jump through. Have a look at Mr. Hicks here. As he comes around, he's chasing down Mr. White as well. The two Merc Evos going battle. So he's not far behind him. He's got the same power plant. So that lead just stretches out a little bit more. The lead is starting to form a bit of a gap now. There's starting to be quite a gap. So there's a gap back now. 4 seconds to Mr. Leach here in the Porsche. And he's leading the second pack, and then we go back to all the way back here to Mr. Balls, which is bringing up the pack, which is another 13 seconds back from the second pack of drivers. So he's leading the second pack of drivers, which consists of 4 guys. And we go up the top here to Mr. Leach is leading the second group of back to the 87, which is back here. So he's leading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys. Roughly a bit more, 15 guys. He bounces his way over that last corner. And the very, very green fucking Porsche. So he's 6 seconds back, a bit more than from the lead. But he's leading this second pack of drivers in P7. So the group's kind of split up. So we'll have to, I'll earn every bit of my coffee today as this pack splits up into 3 as the 77 has an issue. Mr. Pinney's had an issue into the chicane. There's risk of falling back into that third pack of drivers, as you can see, that are going to come up on him. We'll go back up to this. Now we've got 1, 2, 3 packs of drivers. The 5 is leading, so something's happened there to split these guys up into now 4 groups. 4 groups and 1. So we have the lead group. Mr. Alex is leading, 5 laps he's done so far. He's got Mr. Shrab right behind him, 1.8 behind him, and then Mr. Fagan's only very, very close to the back of that AMR now. He's closed that gap right up. So, and then we have Mr. White, who's vaulted himself up in has stayed in P4, sorry. Hasn't vaulted his way anyway. He has some pressure behind him from Mr. Hicks, who's coming on. So good solid effort. He'll be one to get on the podium though. So he's not very far back from Mr. Fagan. 2 seconds or so, but 2.8. So he needs to stay focused. As we'll go back here to Mr. Urbania. Yobri's favourite, and he's putting some pressure on Mr. Yo for the top 10 just outside. So he needs to start making some moves and get his way up now. With 47 minutes, a bit over left on the clock. So important to start making some moves now. He's at the back of this pack, who's led by Mr. Leach. In this group here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers. So decent. It's kind of a BMW, it's kind of a Porsche, BMW, Ferrari standoff, as you have the Porsche leading the 2 BMWs, 2 Ferraris, and the BMW behind. Mr. May is a little bit further back, but starting to keep touch. Mr. Wilson's following him and isn't very far back from him at all. Mr. Graff is the leader of this third pack, little mini pack that's split up now, of 3 cars. The Porsche and Mr. Tillery here at the back end of that little group of 3. As somebody's gone off, Mr. May has gone off by the look of that, as he makes his way back onto the track. Has had an incident on that fast right-hander. So something's happened there, and he's going to fall back into the clutches of Mr. Wilson now, as you see. And then, yeah, we have back number 9. So Paul still leading this little group back here at the back. So he's doing a good job of just maintaining P19, and keeping those guys behind him. He's made a little bit more of a gap now. As Mr. Duffin dives for the pits, we'll have a look. Looks like he's got a lot of damage has happened to that front of that BMW, that 55. So he'll be wanting to repair that. Probably do his stop at the same time. We'll go back quick up the front. And as we can see, Mr. Alex has extended that fucking gap right out now. And we're at 3.8 seconds now, which is the worry that your broadcaster was concerned about. I said, this man is absolutely unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. Superlatives I am at a loss fucking for. He's extended that gap out over the last couple of laps to 3.8 now, over Mr. Shrab and Mr. Fagan back to him. Mr. White, this will be the battle for the last step of the podium, I think, between Mr. Fagan, Mr. White and Mr. Hicks. And then we'll go back to Mr. Abbott just coming onto that back main straight, making his way up. He has Mr. Leach right behind him and Mr. Yo, who have formed a little bit of a group now. So he's ahead of this as the 70, and they'll have another one. They'll have the 74, Mr. Squirrel, and the Ferrari coming up onto the back of that little group as well. And Mr. Wilson basically as well, as everyone kind of groups back up. And go back to the something's happened to Mr. Duffin, has it? Oh no, he's made his pit stop and he's out of the pit, same as Mr. Gooday has decided that at 43 minutes that he was taking his stop. So a long time, bit of a stretch on the tyres. Not too much, but a little bit of stretch on the tyres. As you see Mr. White, Mr. Hicks disappear up in the first corner. He makes his way out of the pits. He got it, and for his efforts, he got a fucking stop go. So he'll have to come back in and revisit the fucking pit lane to see Mr. and stop for 30 seconds. So that just rubs salt and injury. So you see Mr. Leach come in here in the Porsche, won the 3-1. Bloody pit lane, it's got that little drop off there. That just fucking shits me, always catches me unaware as he stops in his box and takes his 25-second mandatory. As you see, Mr. Good is not going to have a good day. So, at all, that'll be fucking him right off that. So, go at the front, now extended it out 4.4, so just about nearly a second. So, very concerning. We're only 10 minutes into this race, a bit more, we're only 20 minutes into this race, guys. And, Mr. Alex has already got a 4.2 second fucking lead. He's on lap 9, so very concerning. As you see Mr. White here and Mr. Fagan coming closer together here. Mr. Hicks certainly not very far back either. So this is for the last step on the podium. And like I said a little bit earlier, I definitely think this is going to turn out to a bit of a war. I think these three are going to close up. I think they have relatively same pace, so it'll be very, very interesting in the last 15 minutes to see whether or not who will take that last step. To see Mr. Hicks has decided to come into the pits. No. Who did I just see? Why did that come up like that? We have three that have come in and done their fucking stop. Mr. Leach, Mr. Gooday, Mr. Duffin, all done their stop. Mr. Gooday has to come in and do a 30-second fucking stop go. As we're watching Mr. Hicks, at the moment. Back in P5, chasing down Mr. White, Mr. Fagan for that last step on the podium. So we'll go back down here to Mr. Graff, and we have Mr. Graff, Mr. Frankhouse. Mr. Wilson's a little bit further up the road, just going through the chicane. Let's see what we can see. We can see these guys are going to... Mr. Frankhouse is probably going to catch Mr. Graff here. So, depending on the strategy in the pit stop, might get a bit of a battle here for just outside the top 10. So crucial points. When you're not the quickest, you've got to try and salvage as many points as you fucking can. So these guys are racing just as hard. So we have some splits now. We're starting to spread out a little across the field, as you can see. Mr. Alex extends that out 4.5. Mr. Schrapp gets very loose out of that corner. And the glowing red hot fucking exhaust out from that V8. So he's out front. He's doing what he's been doing the last 2 rounds. Very comfortable lead. We'll close this up and then we'll come back to Mr. Alex and see when he comes back for his pit stop. Back here to Mr. Alex, and we'll go back here to Mr. Yo, Mr. Urbania. He's made a couple of moves, Mr. Urbania, so he's got cracked into the top 10. And he's got to make some moves now. I said he had to make some moves, and he's done it. So, fucking good on him. And he's catching Mr. Yo here. and he's putting the blowtorch to the back of that Ferrari. He has Mr. Abbott only in front of him, so once he dispatches here of Mr. Yo, if he can, and get to the back of him, he'll be cracking on into the top 5, top 6. So, could be right here, Gabri. Could be right here, mate. He's definitely making a surge and working his way up the field. He has 38 minutes to do it. He's got to take his stop though, so he'll have to factor that all into his fucking calculations. As that lead gap extends out a bit more now. Back 5-2 now, 5 seconds, nearly 5.5 seconds. 4-8, sorry. So, as we're watching this battle here between Mr. Urbania and Mr. Yo, Mr. Squirrel's a little bit further back from here, from this battle here, but still had a little bit of loose moments in the start, but he's making his way on the back of that 3-car battle for deep inside the top 10 we're looking at. Mr. Abbott will know these guys are coming. And there's a big gap in between 5th and Mr. Hicks here. So between 5th and 6th there's a 14-second gap. So it's quite the gap. As you can see there on the track map, we'll go back. It's 14 seconds. So it's comfortable. And the top 5 are comfortably now split out and spread out. So it'll come down to strategy this race here between all the top 5 here. Battles will be back here. Mr. Abbott, Mr. Yo, and Mr. Urbania will all be involved. Mr. Squirrel's coming now. He's coming fast onto the back of this battle, so he will. Then we can go back in a bit deeper up. And we'll go back deeper into the field here and have a look at Mr. Williams, Mr. Tillery, Mr. May for 13, 14 and 15. Mr. Penny's still 3 back out as he goes wild over that last fucking corner. These guys here in P13, 14 and 15 will be on for a battle very soon. It's Mr. Tillery getting very, very close to that Evo and his fellow Merc driver, Mr. Williams. So is Mr. Tillery thinking about a move here? So you see Mr. Penny back in the background, 4-6 back. So can he make some inroads into this battle, into the just outside the top 10 this is. So this is just outside the top 10 we're looking at. So these guys are working really hard to see Mr. Williams onto the back straight, and all about power now. So a little bit of damage to the front and a little bit of damage to the front and the back of the 808 as he's fucking just flat to the boards. As we watch him go up the back straight. Mr. Tillery very much in the toe in the draft there. And you see him suck up onto the back of that, onto the back end of that Evo. So we'll leave these guys battle. There's a very close Mr. Antonelli's got Mr. McMillan in front of him as they battle up the back straight, in behind him now. So he made that pass for P18. There's your first year stoppers with the green boxes. We'll go back up the front and see this gap. As Mr. Alex is coming up onto the back of Mr. G'day, who's done his stop-go and served his 30 seconds, as we have a whole raft of guys coming in. Mr. Yo's decided to come in out of that battle from P12, P13, P14. So is Mr. Frankhouse. He's decided to pit as well. Mr. McWilliams, Mr. Williams has decided to pit as well. Take his 25-second stop. Put fuel or tyres optional. So these 3 guys that were battling have decided to jump in the pit now, so they've all followed each other with their strategy. which is pretty usual if you're battling really close with one another. You'll kind of follow their strategy and just kind of make whatever strategy you had in mind before the race work. So Mr. Yo's going to be the first one to jump out of that 3 and work his way out of the pits, followed by Mr. Williams and then Mr. Frankhouse. So he's got a bit of a gap now, as those 3 guys now have finished their mandatory stop and right to go to the end with 34 exactly minutes left on the clock. We're back up the front. There's Mr. Alex. You can see the gap. It's visual. It's visual. It's visual. 5.4 seconds. And then back to Mr. Fagan here, who's just crossed the line now. And then gap back to Mr. White, who's decided to pit now. And one of the first of the lead group that split off. So Mr. Hicks will inherit that P4 position. And he's decided he's come in. So this is the time for him. So is Mr. Abbott as well in the BMW. Out of P7, I think he was in. P7. So he's decided this is the time he's fit. So there's Mr. Graff in the Mustang. So we're going to start seeing the stops happen now, guys. It's about halfway through. So not unusual for any of these guys to be stopping now. That's about where you would stop. A little bit of damage and what's name. So there's the first year stoppers there. Mr. Leach back in P18. So it's quite a bit back. Mr. White has done his stop. Exit pit lane. As we see him follow those white line all the way out to the end, and now he's right to get back onto the racing line and continue on. So that's dropped him down to P10. Yes, as the timing just catches up with me. That's dropped Mr. White down to P10, but P11, sorry. I'll just wait for a bit here and make sure that that's not dropped down any fucking further. So P11. That looks like where he's going to sort it out. So these guys up the front here. Mr. Alex now 5-6 out front, doing it very comfortably, walking away with it. You see that gap back, Mr. Shrab in fucking P2, and then another 5 seconds back to Mr. Fagan, and doing it very comfortably. As Mr. Hicks looked like he was going to come into he is coming into the pit lane. Was going to pit, so he's pitted out of P4. So Mr. Bania will inherit that spot. He's made that pass on Mr. Squirrel, so now gets himself up into the top 4 now. It's still yet to take his stop. So he'll inherit that P4 off Mr. Hicks, and Mr. Squirrel and everyone will jump up another spot. Back to Mr. May here, maybe, yes. And Mr. Tillery will take that jump up another spot as well, as they'll start cycling through pit lane and taking their stop, their mandatory 25 seconds. So Mr. White is the first of the leaders in that lead group to take his stop. You can see where Mr. Hicks is going to come out here. It's a long stop, very long stop. So as he gets dropped now and gets released, I see Mr. White back here. It's gone through. It's the first corner, so it's the first chicane, so he's gone through. So I'll have a look. And there you have it. So these are your first 2 of that lead group that have stopped. As we're making our way on lap 14, 15. So we're halfway through. Mr. Alex is going to continue on and do another lap. Continues on lap 15. That's Mr. Shrub, still 5.8 back. So leading that gap, Mr. Fagan's decided to jump in now. Out of P3. and take his mandatory stop. Mr. Urbania's back here, 22 seconds back, 15 seconds back. So as he gets wildly over that last corner, he's going to jump into pit lane as well and take his stop. So we'll jump back to Mr. Squirrel. He's going to inherit P3 and go into P3. Mr. Urbania's come in yet as well. Mr. Wilson's right behind Mr. Squirrel here now. So these two, Mr. Wilson and Mr. Squirrel, have yet to stop. So they'll have to take their 25-second mandatory stop. There's these two, P4 and P5, or P3, sorry. Mr. Squirrel will be, and P4. So watch Mr. Fagan just leaving pit lane. He's got an issue and stopped at the end of pit lane. So unsure what's happened there. Oh, he's gone back to the pit. Mr. Fagan's gone back to the pit. So something's happened there. And he has jumped back to the pits. Mr. Antonelli and Mr. Penny and Mr. Sham are all coming in or do their stop. Same as Mr. McMillan. He's coming in to do his stop as well. As we see Mr. Penny jump out of pit lane. Mr. Antonelli's doing his stop. Mr. Sham is doing his stop as well on the Ferrari. So they're all taking their 25-second mandatory stop. See Mr. Alex now out front. We'll go back to the front as he's starting to work his way through the back of the field and coming up on Mr. Duffin in the BMW. So these gaps will fluctuate now as people cycle out of the pits and warm their tyres up and get back up to speed as fast as they can. Well, this costs the leaders when they get involved in these type of battles back here. So, and they're with the back markers, so you'll want to make this pass fucking happen pretty quick. And put Mr. Duffin in his rear view mirror as he comes out, makes the pass. Mr. Duffin comes off the gas a little and lets him by, makes it easy for him. But it has an effect. Making a pass has an effect. Battling, coming up behind guys, as you see. So it's all traffic. So you got to have good traffic management. Traffic management's got to be a part of your strategy as well. You see Mr. White vaulted himself up to P7. He's the first of the stoppers. Mr. Fagan's still in pit, so something's happened obviously outside of the sim. It's out of his control, and he has to deal with that. So we're bummed because we wanted to see a battle. So, but we'll focus here on the leader, and we'll see whether or not he takes his stop. Mr. Ball's in P10, and the BMW's decided that 26 minutes time to stop. So we see Mr. Head go back quickly to Mr. Alex and see if he's going to dive in. He is going to dive in this lap and make his fucking stop. So the leader's in. The leader is in. We'll see Mr. Schroeder's going to follow him into pit lane and come in real fucking hot. That could get him a fucking warning, if not a penalty for coming in that wildly into the fucking pit lane. You cannot fucking come in that wild and that quick. You have the marshals at the end with the radar. They will pin you for speeding in pit lane. So Mr. Squirrel here and Mr. Wilson will probably inherit the lead, maybe. As the Mr. Alex and Shrab, the P1 and P2, your leaders have come in. 25 minutes left on the clock. So we've come in together. So who's going to leave? Is anyone going to get the jump? Mr. Wilson's come in, dived into the pit lane as well at a P4. Mr. Alex is away. He's got a decent gap as well. Look at that gap. Mr. Shrap's been dropped, so that gap is tightened up a bit. Tightened up a bit. It has tightened up a bit. Guys, so The leader and P2 have done their stops now. And Mr. Squirrel right in front of him. No, back down in the chicane, sorry. In the last chicane is in P1. Mr. Alex here is going to make a... Whoa, as Mr. Sherm goes off wide because of the leaders. And missing that corner's apex completely. And will kind of stay out of the way because the leaders are there. But Mr. Tillery and Mr. Squirrel are P1 and P2 at the moment. Mr. Alex is P3, Mr. Shrub. Mr. White is back down here when the camera catches up. He's right there behind Mr. McMillan. So Mr. Shrub's there. So we go back to the 3. So they're both on the back straight. They're both on the back straight. So that gap has closed up, and by my calculations, will have put Mr. White in P3 after the 2 in front that haven't taken their stop. Then we have Mr. Alex back in P3. And he has only a 1.4 second gap now. So, and he come in with a 5 or more. So, that gap's tightened right up. So, good work by the AMR team. Get their man out right behind the leader. And as you can see in the background there, Mr. White's coming onto the straight now. So, there he is. So he will inherit P3. And also because Mr. Fagan is back out now. And back out in P22. So it's vaulted Mr. White here in car 3 up to P3 after Mr. Tillery does his stop. He's doing his stop now. Mr. Squirrel's out front by 19 seconds. Is he thinking, can I get that far in front? He has got a 19-second gap back here to Mr. Alex. Is Mr. Squirrel thinking, can I go another 10, 15 minutes and get and get more? Is his tyres all right? He has the capability. The man has the capability of winning races. He's done a good job. He's kept himself in the fight. Can he do it? 19.7 seconds. Can he extend it out? We'll stay with him here. And we'll just see if Mr. Alex can chew into his lead. Because it is possible. It is possible. It is possible. 25 fucking seconds. He only needs another 6 seconds. It's very doable if he left it till 5 minutes to run. So he's going off on another lap. So maybe his thinking's kind of what I'm saying. Is he thinking, can I extend this out? Have I got enough in the tank? Has he got enough fuel for a start? Because that would be the main thing. Second is his tyres okay. His pace isn't bad. So can he fucking do it? By the look of that time, 18.6, he's chewed into it. Mr. Alex is chewing into that time. So, this could be... He might be thinking, can I get back to maybe even P3 with his stop? But he'll need to make his mind up, and he'll need to make it up quick. Because he's only got 20 minutes. So the time will just chew by as he's chewing through these laps. So the time will just fly by. So we got 20 minutes left in the race now. Mr. Alex is now 17 seconds. And they're both on the main straight now. On the back straight, sorry. So as Mr. Squirrel comes up to that really fast right-hander, Mr. Alex is already halfway through that back straight. Well, Mr. Shrab back 3.2 back from him, and then Mr. White 12.6 back there. So the front 3 Mr. Alex Schrabb and Mr. White all spread out now. So we'll go back to Mr. Squirrel and see whether or not 17.5. So he's maintained the gap a little bit. He's still kind of there. It's 17 seconds. He has lost a bit. It was 19, so 2 seconds. Nearly 2 seconds. Is he going to dive into pit lane now? Has he hit the mark where he thinks, right, I'm diving in? He's diving in. So Mr. Squirrel, the car 74's come in now. They'll definitely lose that lead to Mr. Alex, who's coming down through and onto the main straight and start finish straight now. So they'll lose that lead to him there, as he's yet to stop. His box is right at the very last one. So Mr. Shrub, he'll lose that spot there, but he'll lose the P, go back to P4 maybe, P5, definitely. So as I see Mr. Shrub come through the first chicane, Mr. White in P3 now. Mr. Hicks, Mr. Urbania, Mr. Squirrel still in pit lane. So he's dropped down, he'll drop down. There's Mr. Hicks in P5. Mr. Urbania, he'll lose that spot too. Mr. Squirrel comes out now, out of pit lane. Mr. Leach comes sucking right up behind him. Comes out, Mr. Squirrel comes out on cold tyres. Can this make this? As he gets a tap, loses it, readdresses it. Mr. Leach makes the pass on the outside. Did Mr. Leach have something to do with it, with tapping him there? Is he going to give that spot back? No, is the answer to that fucking question. So Mr. Squirrel's dropped back now to P7. I think he'll be not very happy about that fucking move that Mr. fucking Leach put on him there into that first chicane. It's pretty brutal. But he'll gather himself and go chasing him. I don't think he'll give him any quarter given now that Mr. Leach has now shown what he's prepared to do to make a fucking pass. There was a bit of shove, a bit of push and shove there. So, but he did have cold tyres as Mr. Squirrel makes that pass. The inside. Is he going to make him step him out wide and do no favours to him as they tap? And Mr. Squirrel goes off and spins. Mr. Leach is going to continue on. Mr. Wilson's going to come up on the back of this in P8 and P9 and P10 are all coming up on this melee. Mr. Wilson has nothing to do with this, so he's well within his rights to make a pass on Mr. Leach here if he does choose so see fucking fit. Doesn't have to give way. He wasn't involved in it, Mr. Wilson, so can make the pass on Mr. Leach. Mr. Leach will be thinking that he had something to do with that, so he really does owe Mr. Squirrel that position back. Mr. Yo is getting caught up in the middle of this, and Mr. Abbott is going to make a pass and take advantage of this as well. So Mr. Leach here, he's going to go on with it. He has to go on with it. He has to keep racing. What other choice does he have? Now, if Mr. Wilson and Mr. Yo make a pass on him, then he's probably obliged to do the right thing and give Mr. Squirrel that position. But he's not under any obligation at the moment to do anything except defend his position. So, and that will be a matter for the stewards to sort out if a ticket is submitted there. But he's going to carry on with it. He's in P6. There's plenty of points there. Here's Mr. Urbania up the road by quite considerable amount. So Mr. Wilson's going to make the pass on him. He's going to make the pass on him. As you see, he goes up the inside. As we predicted, he's made the pass on him. Is Mr. Leach here going to make something of this and make it? Oh, as he sucks up onto the back of the AMR. Mr. Alex has stretched that lead back out to what he was before the pit stop in about 5.7 seconds, so over the 76 in P2. But we're watching this battle here for P6 and P7 with Mr. Leach. Mr. Wilson has just made the pass on Mr. Leach, who's had a little bit of a fucking melee and has punched his way up to P6 and P7. Has now dropped back. As Mr. Yo, Mr. Squirrel that he had the punch on fucking with, approaching the back of this little battle here that we're watching. So, plenty of food for fucking thought. As you're racing, Mr. Leach is very close here. Very much in the striking position to fucking strike. Only a couple of cards back. So Mr. Wilson wasn't involved in the little bit of a melee that happened a couple of laps ago. But this could turn up. It looks like there's a bit of a gap formed now between Mr. Squirrel and Mr. Abbott. As we go back to Mr. Squirrel here. And Mr. Abbott, and that's the start of it. There's a group forming behind these two here. A big group. Mr. Duffin here is going to make a pass. Oh, it looks like for P10. He's out the outside on Mr. Squirrel. So he's sucked back up to him to grab the draft back off him to jump back out again. As he goes side by side into the fast right-hander, which never kind of works unless you have the cooperation as we start to group right up here with Mr. May, Mr. Tillery and Mr. Fagan involved in this group. So Mr. Duffin got the job done on and the pass made on Mr. Squirrel. Be with it, May being a little bit fucking messy, but still got the pass made. You know, up here to P8 in front of Mr. Squirrel here. But this pack here, it's all on Mr. May, Mr. Tillery. Mr. Fagan isn't in this battle. Stopped, had an issue. Mr. Frankhouse is in this battle though, and not far off the back of it. Mr. Abbott the same. So this is going to group up towards the end. 11 minutes left, so we only got 10 minutes left. Mr. Graff's a little bit further back there. And Mr. Pinney's just coming onto the start straight now. Mr. Williams is 20 back. Had a few issues tonight in the AMR. Mr. Andinelli, same. Mr. Balls, same. Back in P20. Just Sham. Back in P20 now. Mr. McMillan. Back in P21. And there's Mr. Fagan there, involved in this group. Back in P9, back to P12. There's some action here going on left, right and centre. Punches are being thrown. With 10 minutes to go, the gloves are fucking off. Mr. Fagan is faster than these guys, so if he can get away from it, if he can get out of it and get away from it, it would be in his best interest to make the passes on these guys and get away from it. So he's going up the inside of Mr. Tillery now, so Mr. Frankhouse, Mr. Abbott, all these guys all the way back here are all in this battle for P10, P9. A little far away from P8 here with Mr. Yo and Mr. Wilson here. And we'll go back up the front. But a great battle happening around here. P11, P10, P9. So, awesome battle. Thoroughly enjoying watching these guys go to war at PR. So, absolutely. You watch Mr. Abbott into the final corner. Enthralled in this battle I am. So, where's your favourite driver here? Show me, tell me, and we'll have a look at him. There's Mr. Albania there, back in P5. So he's got a lot of work to do. 9 minutes. A big bag full of fucking points though, I must say that. Mr. Hicks and Mr. White are out on their own and doing their own fucking thing, running their own fucking race. Mr. Shrub here is back 7.5 back from the leader and is on his own here as well. He has... And Mr. Alex is doing it again, comfortably. 7-point-something seconds now, fucking in front. So we'll see, we'll get a latest update of what he is in front. 8.53 in front. So this go on probably to another fucking 10-second fucking win for this man. As we go back to Mr. Shrub, Mr. White now, he comes across the line. So run his own race in P3. Really, really be happy with that. Really, really happy. So come back off a week break. So the series was on a week break. So be a nice little present for him. He'd be really fucking happy about that. Just quietly. So always happy if he can get on the fucking podium. So as he's coming up onto the back of Mr. Balls, and I see him make the pass. Mr. Balls here. As he comes onto the back straight, BMW number 9. We did his driver profile last week at the Red Bull Ring. So he's back in P19. Still learning. Still getting used to the BMW and the wet series. So you'll have the leader come up. So it's a good opportunity to be able to hone your craft of being able to let a faster guy by. There's a real craft and a real art to being able to fucking... And it's skill and it's a fucking talent. There's no doubt. No fucking doubt in my mind. More so because I'm a defensive driver, I know. I don't want to lose time, just like Mr. Balls here. I don't want to lose time to Mr. White by letting him by. I'm already back in P19. So I want to let him by with the least amount of fucking... losing the least amount of time to him that I can. So I let him by. As Mr. White makes that pass, it makes it a bit easy for him. Compromises his apex and his line a little bit to do that. But still, there's an art to being able to do it. Lift off, let the faster guy by, and not lose so much time to the guy you're fighting. Not necessarily in this case. You can be a little bit more liberal with how you're letting somebody by when you're out on your own, like Mr. Balls is here, letting some guy by. But at the same time, you still don't want to lose a chunk of fucking time, you know. It's not fun being back here when you're racing by yourself back in P19 and you're not racing kind of anyone except for yourself and the clock. So, and kind of feels like practice laps a little bit. But still, there's an art to it. So he's learning it. He's doing a fucking good job. So, well done to him. It's not the best position, but it's admirable because you're still learning. You're learning. So, really admirable. Let's see how this battle here that we were looking at before, that was intensifying, and we'll see how it's sorted itself out. Mr. Duffin has got himself to P9. Mr. Squirrel sorted himself out into P10. Mr. Tiller is in P11. Mr. May is in P12. Mr. Abbott's not far behind him, and that's a close battle. So this battle's sort of stretched out a bit now, and they've sorted themselves out to where they want to fucking run. Mr. Fagan still hasn't made the pass on these guys. He's sitting behind Mr. Graff, as you can see. So he is faster, but hard to make the pass when you're at full tilt and racing. So we'll go up the front and have a look up the front. Mr. Alex. With less than 5 minutes on the clock now, the man has a 9.5 second lead. I don't want to say that I'm fucking Nostradamus, but fuck me. Did I not say that this man might take a 10-second fucking lead at the end of this race? I did. As Mr. Williams gets out of his way completely, and that's what I was talking about just then. That would have cost Mr. Williams a lot of time letting Mr. Alex through there, you know. Now, Mr. Williams is back in P17. You know, so, but that would have cost him a lot of time to step completely out of the way like that. So, there we go. There's your leader with 3 minutes left, 3.5 minutes left on the clock. Back to the 76. He's done a mighty fine job of trying to take it to Mr. Alex tonight. Maybe had a little bit of an issue earlier on, lost the lead, and got a pass made on him for the lead. But still very admirable in P2. Tried his very level best to take it to the 111. But has found himself in P2. So, to have a look at it, go back to the leader as he sets on one of the last few fucking laps of the race. So, we're not surprised at all. Again, as we watch him come into the last sector and finish off the 27th lap and start his 29th and probably second last lap. Another dominant display, 9.8. So I predicted at the start that you don't want this guy to get away, because this is what he does to you. This is what he's capable of doing. So he's very, very good in the GTR, and he's very, very good in the fucking wet. So the flag has definitely well and truly been planted in the ground. And if you have to drop your worst round, and your worst round's a P1, I don't see how you're not going to win the fucking championship with that. So even with dropping a P1 as your fucking best, because this man has won the last two, this will be number 3 and a hat trick that this man's won in this series, and takes a very dominating position at the top of the leaderboard. So the question I put out to you is, who has the balls to take it to this man? Because nobody has nobody has now. He's now just stretching this lead out, and it's got it out to oh my lord, nearly a 10-second. So extremely, extremely good. And just doing it effortlessly. The car doesn't look to be really hard to handle or really hard to drive. He set the car up really well. It's responding really well off all the bumps and the curves and the ripple strips. It's not wild at all to drive. It looks very, very comfortable. So he'll probably tell you something fucking different. And I probably will not fucking exactly know that he'll fucking say something different, like, fuck, oh, that was fucking hard as fuck. It is. It takes work, but
the leader is on the final lap. Give me the
as
final
you just heard, final lap for our leader. So there we have it. Sets off on his final few kilometres through the first chicane, bumped his way out. The car just reacts so well. It's just not even moving. It's solid as fuck. So there you have it, guys. Another dominating fucking display from the 111. Now 11 seconds, so over 10 seconds back to the P2 and the 76. And Mr. White even back at fucking 17 seconds as he comes through first chicane, sets his way off on the last lap. And same with Mr. Hicks. Mr. Urbania is going to end up in P5. So very well done from where he was. Great fight back to there. We'll go back to the leader and watch him do his last sector or a couple of sectors of this last lap for your third round. We're heading back home next week onto Bathurst, so very much looking forward to doing that. Lots more fucking driver profiles for you to do. Bit slack tonight, but I've got a few more driver profiles. Also, here it is. It's all fucking packaged up, ready to go. So this will be the fucking this is the wet underdog fucking award, all packaged up, ready to send. It's blank on the front, shipped to the guy I think is the fucking underdog of the fucking series. As your leader comes across the fucking line, there he is, Mr. Alex, the GTR, car 111. Again, dominating display of absolute talent and just sheer driving skill. Well done to you, mate. Congratulations. Very well, very, very well done. So, is he going to give us a burnout or a donut tonight, or is he just going to go back to the pits as we watch Mr. Shrub come through? Mr. White, he'll definitely do some kind of burnout or something. P3, well done, mate. Well done. Congratulations, mate, on the last step of the podium. So well done. Good on you, buddy. Yeah, absolutely well done. So as all the guys start finishing, you have Mr. Hicks there in P4. Mr. Urbania is going to get P5. You see him cross the line. Mr. White's doing donuts, so there you have it. I knew he'd do some kind of thing if he's kind of fucking up everything. Not kind of doing burnouts, not doing burnouts, kind of not really. Now deciding he wants to light it up and send it around in circles. That's what we want to see. Mr. Hicks is doing the same thing, and we've got an dual Evo fucking donuts here at the end. Mr. Urbania's not going to get involved in it as Mr. fucking White keeps going. Mr. Leach there. Mr. Wilson in P7, P8 for Mr. Yo. Mr. Squirrel comes flying through at 1 billion miles an hour and fucking wipes out the whole field as he's finishing. Mr. Abbott there. Mr. May will pull over. Mr. Graff back in P12. Mr. Frankhouse finishing off his lap in P13. And there we have it. So I'll run through it. Mr. Alex in P1. Mr. Shrub in P2, 11 seconds back, or nearly 12 seconds back. Mr. White rounds out your fucking podium for fucking this round 3 and takes P3. Mr. Hicks will be in P4. Mr. Urbania will be in P5. Mr. Wilson, P6. Mr. Leach, P7. Mr. Yo, P8. Mr. Squirrel, P9. Mr. Abbott in P10. Mr. May will be your outside, P11. Mr. Graff in P12. Mr. Frankhouse, who we're watching now, will get P13. Mr. Tillery in 14. Mr. Pinney in P15. Mr. Doven in P16. Mr. Williams in P17. Mr. Antonelli in the AMR 36, P18. Mr. Balls in P19. Mr. Fagan got back to P20 after an issue start. Mr. McMillan, P21. Mr. Sham beat P22. Mr. Goodday, P23. And Mr. Leach will round out your field. Car 63 in the Mustang for this round 3 of Paul Ricard in P24. Well, guys, what a fucking race. What a fucking race. Absolute fucking cool one. One of the cooler ones that I have had the pleasure of fucking doing. So, thanks for watching. I hope you fucking enjoyed it. It's another great wet round. I will see all you guys, some of you guys on fucking Tuesday for fucking Tuesday Big Grid. Don't forget to fucking tune in for that. That's fucking with my fucking co-commentator, fucking co-broadcaster, the Dud Milk. He'll be bringing you fucking some absolute fucking ball-biting action from the fucking GT fucking threes on Big Grid fucking Tuesday. Otherwise, I will catch you guys for the Alpine fucking Cup and second fucking round. So, peace out. Thanks for fucking watching. Fucking hope you all enjoyed it. Fucking, I'll talk to you real fucking soon. See ya.